Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Immigration Fridays. I'm your host, Prashanthi Reddy, and this week we're trying to deep dive deep into a topic that's causing a lot of concern and confusion. The new H-1B Proclamation signed on September 19, 2025 by President Trump. He signed this proclamation, and this sets up um, a significant difference in the landscape of H-1B visa applications for both beneficiaries and employers. The most significant change in this new order is the imposition of the 100,000 fee for all new H-1B visa petitions. Yes, you heard it right. $100,000 extra fee. This represents a significant increase over the present fee, which is usually in the range of $2,000 to $5,000. The proclamation is titled Restriction on Entry of Certain Non-Immigrant Workers. And the clear goal of this proclamation seems to be, at least as stated, to protect American jobs by making it far more expensive for companies to hire foreign workers. The administration argues that this will ensure only extraordinary skilled individuals are brought in, and that companies will be incentivized to train and hire US citizens when needed. So the new order or the new proclamation clarifies the following points. Who does it affect? The 100,000 fee applies to new H-1B petitions filed on or after September 21, 2025 for beneficiaries who are outside the country, which means that if you're filing an extension and you're within the country, then that fee doesn't apply to you. It's questionable whether the fee applies to transfers and amendments, but so far we have seen that it hasn't, as we have filed several transfers in our office after this date, after the effective date of the proclamation. So it looks like it applies only to beneficiaries who are outside the country, who have never filed a H1 before, that is, who are filing a new H1. The fee also is a one-time payment, not 100,000 for every year, as was stated previously. Is only a one-time payment, though it's significant, so I shouldn't use the word only. Who is not affected? This fee doesn't affect current H-1B visa holders, as I just said, and those who have already had their petitions filed before the date of the proclamation, or also individuals seeking H-1B visa extensions. So current visa holders can also travel in and out of the country, and the fee will not apply to them. Please remember, this is a travel ban because clearly 214F has been stated in the proclamation, and 214F has been used by the present administration in Trump's previous term, earlier as well. 214F was previously used as a travel ban to ban people from Muslim countries in 2017, and that was ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court. And then again, it was used during COVID in 2020 to ban people from most other countries in Europe, India, Asia, etc. But of course, the travel ban was removed once Biden came to power and once the COVID um, was no longer an issue. So we have to wait and see how the courts will deal with this new travel ban. And so let's see what happens moving forward. Also, what about the lottery, the H-1B lottery? The H-1B lottery is not until next year. The registration starts in March, and then the lottery will take place end of March. By April 1, people are usually ready to file their H-1B cases. The new fee will definitely apply to new H-1B lottery cases for the fiscal year 2026. But we have to see how it's going to be implemented because it's a travel ban. From what I'm reading, the fee will not be paid to the USCIS, but it will be paid to the Department of State when they're applying for a visa outside the country, or to CBP when they're entering into the US. If that's the case, then they will not be paying the fee until they actually enter, which will be after October, because that's the date when they can first enter. But remember that the proclamation is only valid for 12 months. So by September next year, the proclamation will be null and void unless extended. So we have to wait and see how all this plays out and whether it will be extended and whether it will actually affect the lottery next year. But I'm sure that not many people will file for registration or the lottery because they will not know whether the proclamation will apply, not apply, and whether it will be extended or not, unless we hear something further before that. And I would urge you to read the news, make sure you read proper sources so that you know and are updated with reference to what further guidelines we have with reference to this proclamation. But if it is implemented in its full force, then it is obviously a bad thing, not good for the economy, in my opinion, and will hurt big and small employers, especially in the tech industry and in healthcare as well. The order, though, does allow, or the proclamation does allow case by case waivers for workers in roles or in companies or industries deemed to be of national interest. Maybe in healthcare, maybe in engineering. However, we're waiting for official guidance on how this will apply. Let's see how we can navigate this new proclamation now that the proclamation has been signed. We know that the new order presents major challenges, but there may be ways of navigating it. Of course, communicating with your employer, discuss whether your employer is willing to pay the new fee, which may be unlikely because it's 100,000 is a huge amount of money. Explore alternative visas. Now is a good time to research into other visa options such as L1, O1, and if you belong to other countries like Australia, you could be using the E2, or Canada, you can be using the TN, or maybe if you are from a country where your green card numbers are available, you can file directly for a green card. So it's important to stay informed, follow official announcements from government agencies such as USCIS, Department of State, and don't rely on social media and posts from unreliable sources. For employers, reevaluate your hiring strategy, at least for this year. Significant cost increases means that you'll need to assess if hiring foreign talent is actually a cost-effective way or not. Look into the national interest exemptions. It's possible if you're in the healthcare industry or even if you're in IT, you could argue that your employee is working on cutting edge technology such as AI, etc., and that make a case for a national interest waiver. You never know until you file it, whether it'll get approved or not, but maybe they will be liberal. We have to wait and see. Of course, consider filing for change of status applications if you need new talent or transfers, meaning people who are already in the US. Um, I think based on at least an amalgamation of all the different documents that I've read, um, F1 to H1 may not be affected, or H4 to H1 may not be affected, even though they are cap cases. Since they're in the country and it applies only to people who are outside the country, these cases may not be affected. So you can look into those kind of cases in order to increase your talent pool. And last but not the least, consider advocacy. Contact your congressman, contact your senator, tell them why you think this is bad for the economy, why it's bad for your business. And if that fails as well, uh, litigate. Already, I think within the week, there will be temporary restraining orders filed. And we have to wait and see how it goes through the courts. If it's a travel ban, it might be fine because there's a Supreme Court precedent, but it's not just a travel ban. There's also a $100,000 fee. And because there is a a fee angle to it, uh, it might not go through courts because in order to impose any kind of fee, there has to be a regulation and it cannot be done through a proclamation. So let's wait and see how the courts react to this. So remember, this is an evolving situation. My advice is to stay calm, Consult with an experienced immigration attorney. Avoid making any significant changes until we know for sure uh, what the proclamation is all about. And, keep watching my Immigration Friday videos, and hopefully, I'll have more news for you. And with that, we'll be back again next Friday with more updates on this and other important immigration topics. So stay tuned and see you again next week. Thank you and goodbye.